Narcissistic, lazy, innovative, entrepreneurial. These are all terms that employers have used to describe a specific set of people. This group is known as the millennials, and they have been put under the microscope for the past few years in order to find out whether they have a better or worse work ethic than the previous generation. The majority of us are considered to be millennials, and we will be joining the workforce soon. So it's important for us to understand why businesses have concerns in hiring millennials and to understand the issues behind it. I myself am considered a millennial, so I kind of understand what they're talking about, and I can understand whether these attributes are true or not. And I've also worked in jobs where the age ranges from 15 to 50, so I've seen the different work habits between the generations. And that brings us to the question of how should millennials respond to concerns businesses have in hiring millennials. There are a number of ways that people could respond to this, but it kind of depends on the situation and the type of people involved. And because of that, I'm not going to focus on just one response. Instead, I'm going to focus on I will give you information about millennials and the concerns that businesses have with hiring them so that if you ever run into this situation, you know how to handle it appropriately. I will first give a definition of millennials, and then I'll move on to a negative viewpoint of them, and then on to a positive viewpoint, which is kind of the main debate behind business concerns. So first of all, John Palfrey, who is a professor and vice dean at Harvard Law School, wrote in 2013 that millennials are defined as anyone born between the years 1980 and 2000. He calls them digital natives, and this is important because one of the defining characteristics of millennials is that they've never known a world without technology. They've grown up having technology available to them and using the internet. And because of this, employers tend to have reservations about hiring millennials because they rely so heavily on technology. And this leads into my next point, which is the negative viewpoint that employers may have about millennials. David Bass, who is a investigative reporter for the Carolina Journal, wrote in 2013 that millennials are described as changing jobs frequently because of boredom. They have poor work ethic, self-entitled mindsets, and a heightened standard of living expectation. And he claims that they have a poor work ethic and self-entitlement mindsets because since they grew up with always having the internet and having technology, that they've never really had to work for anything, and everything's always been available to them. So because of that, obviously employers want their employees to work hard and to prove that they deserve to work for them. So for those reasons, employers tend to have a negative, some employers tend to have a negative viewpoint of millennials. And now I've explained that, so I will move on to the positive aspects and some good things that employers find in the millennial generation. The senior vice president of Constant Contact, which is a small communications company, Rick Jensen, wrote in 2013 that the millennial generation has a more entrepreneurial mindset, and he described them as being tech-savvy, networked, and independent. And with these attributes, he explained that they're able to multitask better. They can reach out to larger groups of people and communicate ideas more efficiently. And because they're so independent, they tend to create jobs specific to their skill set. And so with that, it creates more job opportunities and provides more services to different people. With these characteristics, like I said, it creates a more entrepreneurial set of people, and with that, it's entirely changing and reshaping the business world and moving it forward. And so that's the good thing, the good aspects about the millennial generation and why employers may want to hire them. So I've talked about the negative aspects, I've talked about the positive, and I've first talked about what millennials are. So hopefully with this information you can kind of understand or begin to understand the concerns businesses have in hiring millennials. So then if you ever do find yourself in a job interview or with a future employer and they show concerns in hiring you because you're a millennial, you can then understand why they have those concerns and can address that appropriately and hopefully maybe shine a better light on millennials.